Hello everyone and welcome back. So in the last part we finished up retopologizing the body, and so for this part we're going to sculpt some details in the belt area. So right click, select the belt, and then hit Control I. So we're just gonna hit H and hide everything else, and we can go to this layer. And so let's get started. So we're gonna do the same thing that we did with kind of similar to the hands. So we're going to select the belt, tab, well not tab, but select it, hit Shift D, duplicate this, right click it, and then move it to this layer. We duplicated this because we're going to use this to help us with retopology when we retopologize the belt. So let's go in here and let's go into sculpt mode, click enable dynamic topology, and there we go. So it's already in smooth shading. Now yeah, this is good, so we can get started. Alright, so I'm going to start laying out some details. So our last dynamic topology size was 5. Just bump it up a little bit to 6, and that'll be okay for this. Let's go to clay strips, and you don't want symmetry on for this, so go to symmetry and unhit the X. You don't want symmetry because the belt and its wrinkles are very much asymmetrical, so you want to be sure that you have that. And let's also turn off smooth shading, and let's get sculpting. Turn down the strength a little bit, and we can start. I'm going to just go across the top here. So remember, like our previous sculpt, you start off with just getting the rough details in. You don't start too high detail too quickly. You start by roughing things in. And again, I am using a mouse, not a tablet. So you don't have to use a tablet if you don't have one. You don't need it for this tutorial series. Okay, so let's get some more of these shapes in here. Let's come in, start making some smaller shapes. Put some of the smaller details in there. So that go this way. This belt is kind of similar to the one that Goku wears, if you're familiar with Dragon Ball Z, and so that's what I'm basing it off of. So if you want a reference, you can look at his belt. I couldn't quite find a real life example of his belt. Okay, now let's hold control and we can start making some indents in here. Because some parts of the belt go in, some parts of the belt stay out. We just want to accentuate some of these details by holding control and moving inward like so. Not much to say here. Just hold, well, I'm making the indent, so just hold control and click. I'm gonna up the strength to about 0.3, and I'm gonna turn this up a bit. I'm gonna change the detail size from 6 to 4. Alright, so now we can start getting some more finer detail in here. Just going around, making some of the wraps come around like so. So this will be on top of that one. And we go on top like that. Okay, so this is the front. So it can be a bit easy to lose your orientation here when you're doing a shape such as this, because it's not easily distinguishable from the rest of itself. This is a very simple shape. So remember where you are. I'll just smooth that out a little bit. Get to this part, and I'm going to go over it like so. Okay. Go over that. Okay, so that's looking real nice. It's looking real nice. Now let's go to these corners here and just smooth these out. Let's smooth all of that out. All of this. Smooth it out like so. Alright, and do the same thing up top. Alright. Smooth it out. Smooth it out. Like so. There you go. It's not so harsh up there. And then we can actually carry some of these details up here to give that illusion, or to further give that illusion of the belt. So we have there's a detail flow down like that. Can have one come down into the belt like so. Have it go flow into that. And this stays up top. Like that. And again, I'm going to hit Control and start making some indents in here. Start really defining the shape. Okay, got that for the top. The bottom, it'll be alright. So I just want to come in here, do some more with the top. Okay. Alright, now, so let's change the detail size from 4 to 2. So now we're working with really fine details here. And so I'm going to get the flatten brush, and I'm just going to paint over this like so. And I'm going to hit S for smooth. I'm going to change the strength down to about this much. And I'm going to hold shift and just lightly brush over this area. Get rid of some of those artifacts and such. So let's go back to flatten. I'm gonna go over this, and then I'm gonna hit S for smooth. I'm gonna change the strength down just a little bit more, and we're gonna slightly brush over that. One more time with the flatten. And then we go to smooth, and then just lightly go over that, smooth it out. Okay, so let's go back to clay strips. F, turn the strength down, and let's continue. And we're going to be refining the detail in this stage here. So I'm gonna have this one come. I'm gonna follow. I'm gonna go over those. I can hit S and turn the strength up a little bit. I'm going to smooth over this area. I'm going to go back to clay strips and make it again. Just come in here, just click and drag, start refining the shapes. Holding control to make some indents there. And another tip that I forgot to tell you guys: you do not have to follow exactly what I do. You can, if you see I do something and you prefer to do it another way, feel free to do it that way. But I'm just teaching you the things that I do. to get the result that you see. So if you prefer to do things a different way, then by all means, feel free. Don't feel obligated to follow this 150%. So we all have our own way of doing things. I know I've watched plenty of tutorials where I've seen people do some, in my opinion, very shady stuff. Shady in terms of I don't think they quite knew what they were doing. So just gonna come in here, keep bringing some of these details out. All right. Kind of smoothing this stuff out. Alright, so we have a very nice, in my opinion, convincing belt. Let's just get that. Shift C just to get some good creases going on in here, like so. Actually fix up some of the errors that we have. Smooth that out. Shift C, let's come in here, make the size a bit bigger, and just click and drag. And just bring that crease all the way down here. Bring that crease all the way down here. And bring this one up like so. Like so. And there we go. Oh, just fix a few more. Just want to fix a few more things in here before I call this finished. Alright, so now let's turn on smooth shading. See what this looks like. Okay. There we go. So that is the sculpted belt. How long have I been recording? Okay. So now what we need to do is go to object mode and hold shift and select our other layer here with our actual belt on it, and select that belt. Okay, hit tab and with all of our retopology settings still turned on, just hit Control R, and we're going to add 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 loops, and left click and right click. Now we're going to focus on one side at a time, and remember to turn on proportional editing. Just going to hit G and then bring this, the geometry to the surface. Alrighty, and then if we tab out and go to our belt, you see the belt has already started to conform to the shape of this belt. And so we can move some geometry around here to make it a bit uneven. You can also use this time to get some more of the points that haven't quite snapped to the surface yet to snap to the surface. You can have them start to follow a flow of some kind. Alright, that's looking really good. Alrighty, and so, believe it or not, that's our retopologized belt. We don't have to do anything else. So let's change this to smooth shading. And let's move this back to the first layer. Back to the first layer. You see nothing but the belt stairs because we hid everything before. Hit Alt-H to unhide things, or everything. And on this layer is where our pants are. But I'm going to move this. I'm going to hit M, and I'm going to move this to the layer where we have our sculpted body. So I'm going to keep all of our sculpted material on this layer. And then let's go back here. Well, let's unhide the pants, and let's go here. So, now we have finished the belt. So in the next part we'll get started with the pants. So I'll see you guys then.